This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond. Welcome you to another sports catastrophe on this date. And on this day, April the 5th, in the year 2010, one of the greatest men's basketball tournament finals in NCAA history happened. It's at Indianapolis' Lucas Oil Stadium, home to the Indianapolis Colts. It's the number 1 seed Duke Blue Devils from the South against the number 5 seed from the West, Butler, who were played not too far away from their campus at Indianapolis. In fact, this was actually the 5th time in history that 2 private universities would play in the national title game, and the first since 1985. I didn't know Duke was a private university, to be honest with you. But anyway, yeah. So the other ones were 42, 54, and 55. But anyway, Butler was the 5 seed in the West Regional, shocking a lot of people to get that far. Butler in the first round took care of UTEP, thanks to Shelvin Mack's 7 3-pointers. In the second round, Butler almost got upset by Murray State, just winning 54-52. In the Sweet 16, they took on the 1 seed in their group, Syracuse, and took care of the Orange 63-59 to get to their first Elite 8 in history. And then took down Kansas State 63-56 to move on to the Final Four. And then shockingly took down Michigan State 52-50. And I believe that was with Draymond Green on the team. But anyway, it was just shocking. Duke, perennial superstars and all that. They were the 1 seed. They crushed Pine Bluff by 29. They took care of California by 15. They had a great performance by Kyle Singler to take down Purdue in the Sweet 16. In the Elite 8, Nolan Smith went off for 29 points, taking down Baylor to go to the Final Four, and then they took care of West Virginia, 78-57. So Duke was going back to the title game for the first time in 9 years, and Butler was going to be in for the first time in their history. And Butler was only 80 miles away from their campus. Well, Lucas Oil Stadium. So, the starting lineups: Shelvin Mack and Ron Norad for Butler at guard. Duke countered with Nolan Smith and John Shire. Forwards were Willie Feasley, Gordon Hayward, and Matt Howard for Butler. Well, Kyle Singler, Lance Thomas, and Brian Subak were the starters for Duke. It was a tight game and all that. Very tight to the end. Duke got off to a good start, but Butler took a lead and all that. Butler went on a few runs, so did Duke. At the end of the first half, it was 33-32 for Duke. And then the second half was huge, as basically through the first 7 minutes, no lead was more than 2 points. They were playing each other tooth and nail. It was just like, they were punching each other and all that. Subak would make a basket to make Duke up by 4, but then the lead got cut down. Duke had a 5-point lead, but then free throws made it 56-55. With 3 minutes left, Duke went back up by 5, but Matt Howard put up a few buckets to make it 60-59. With 3 seconds left, Subak got fouled and went to the line to sink both free throws. He made the first one to make it 61-59. If he made the next one, then that means Butler had to hit a 3 to tie and force the game to overtime. But Subak missed. But there was still not a lot of time left. And Gordon Hayward got the ball and heaved it from half court. Would this be one of the greatest game winners in NCAA history, much less the championship final? Clang. No. Off the rim. Butler couldn't believe their luck. They lost. And Duke survived 61-59. It was close. Very close. And Duke were the champions. It was close. I mean, Butler wasn't really expected to go that far, but they only lost by 2 points in the national title game. That's amazing. All that. Much of that went in. But yeah, Butler survived a lot of things, but they freaking lost it. Actually, the good news for Butler is that this wasn't their only finals appearance of the 2010s. The next year in 2011, they were actually much worse in a sense. They were actually the 8th seed in the Southeast. And somehow, in some way, they got back to the national title game, despite the fact that Gordon Hayward got drafted by Charlotte. They were given the 8th seed and pulled off many upsets and all that. So Butler came back in 2011 to go to the finals. They were given the 8th seed. They took on number 9 Old Dominion, and they narrowly beat them by 2. And then they faced Pittsburgh, who were the 1 seed in the Southeast and number 4 overall, and they nearly won 71-70 on some free throw havoc. And then the next round, they took on Wisconsin, who were the 4 seed in the Southeast, and beat them 61-54 before taking on the 2 seed in the Southeast, Florida, and winning in overtime to go back to the Final Four, where they would take on fellow Cinderella PCU, who were 11 seed, who had to go through a playing game just to get into the tournament of 64. They beat PCU 70-62. And unfortunately, though, they got taken out by UConn 53-41 in one of the worst offensive performances in a title game by both teams. You know that. Never mind that in 2011, that marked the first time since 1989 that the finals did not have a 1 or 2 seed. Did not have a 1. No finalist was a 1 or 2 seed. Well, UConn weren't expected to do much in the Big East tournament, but Kemba Walker went through and helped them win the title. And all that. And Kemba Walker, it's just amazing what they could have done. Butler still had Sheldon Mack and Matt Howard starting, with Sean Van Sant, Chase Deagle, and Andrew Smith being the main guys. Butler was actually up 22-19 at the first half, but UConn used the second half to put it through and all that. So yeah, it was just one of the worst games around. I mean, after all, UConn made a big move. They had to win the Big East tournament to get into the tournament to solidify a chance to go to the tournament. They did 5 wins in 5 consecutive days. Yeah, Butler only had 18.8% of their shots made through the whole game. That's just horrific. Very horrific at that. So, yeah. And a side note, at the time of this taping, is that the finals of the 2023 tournament will have the number 5 seed, San Diego State, against the number 4 seed, UConn Huskies. So that means no top 2 seeds in any of the finalists are not a top 2 seed. So who will win? We don't know. But of course, you'll know at the end of this video. But at the time of this taping, I don't know. So I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, I'm just having to do.